Hello and welcome to the June meeting of the UMRA Travel Discussion Group. Today, Jan Locke is going to talk about her travels in Japan, featuring Kyoto and Tokyo. So, Jan, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy this. I told Joe I had like 5,000 slides and I wasn't kidding. So uh, it will be interesting. So uh, I was listening to Herb's discussion about Poland, and I had the same situation with Japan in that I just never had any big desire to go there. It was not either of our bucket lists, and it was okay, but we had a lot of other things on the list. And then our kid decided that after he graduated from U of M, he went through the master's program at the engineering school. He wanted to go study further in Tokyo with a specific professor at the University of Tokyo. So the first time we went was kind of a welfare check to make sure he was alive, wasn't starving to death, not living in total squalor, that kind of thing. And the second time we went was to watch him graduate. So without that impetus, we would have probably not gone there. But it was a really an amazing, cool place, and we really, really enjoyed it. So I'm here to share it with you. So kind of a little bit of where we're going to be. I circled the area, but we spent most of our time on both trips in Tokyo, which is a huge place, and there's a whole lot of stuff around it that's considered to be the area of Tokyo, but in Kanto prefect province. But we also went down to Kyoto, went out to Yokohama, out to a little place called uh, Kamakura. So little places around there. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But we spent about a week in Kyoto area, and we spent the rest of the time in Tokyo. So the itineraries we had in Tokyo was Mount Takao, which is a little bit south of there, Yokohama, went to Kyoto and Osaka, and then up to Mount Fuji. And on the second trip, it was Tokyo, Kamakura, and Chiba. So Chiba is a little bit north and uh, east of Tokyo, but it's in that same kind of general area. Uh, so this was the view out our hotel window when we got to Japan. We were in the town of Toshimaku, which is also by the Ikebukuro train station. So when they talk about low areas in Japan, Tokyo was one of the cities kind of in it, but there's other cities, Toshima, Bunkyo, the ku means city. Um, and so people don't really talk about the cities as much as they do about the train station. So if they say, oh, it's at Ikebukuro, that's the train station. It's not a town, that's the station name. So so there's a lot of ways to be told where you are in Japan. It can be kind of confusing. But this was a view out the window. Um, this building right here is a huge department store, which I'll talk about the shopping in Japan in a little bit. But anyway, it was a big place. The sun comes up about 4 o'clock in the morning, so it was kind of surprising. Uh, this is a view of Tokyo Station in Ginza. This is so another station area. When they talk about Tokyo Station, that's where you would go to get to Ginza, which is the old shopping district. This used to be the Parliament House in Japan for the government, and I think somewhere back in the 60s they renovated it. And a lot of the areas around it were converted into apartment buildings. But the two floors below the train station are some of the most amazing shopping you'll ever see, and food courts and all kinds of stuff. So it's a destination in itself to go to the station. So from the airport, you go to Tokyo Station, you take the express to Tokyo Station, then from Tokyo Station, we took a bus up to our hotel room. The first trip. Also, so different parts of Tokyo. Shibuya is another area in Tokyo. This is the Meiji Jingu Shrine. This is a uh, uh, can't think of it now. Anyway, really common place to go. Everybody, like it seemed like everybody in Tokyo went there on Sunday. We were really fortunate the first time we went, in a way, that COVID came because at the time we were there, it was still closed to tourists. So we were allowed to go because our son was a student. And so it was nowhere near as crowded as it was the second time. And so a lot of these places, we could just go walk into the restaurant, stop at the bar or whatever. And it was really pretty uncrowded. But so this is a Shinto shrine, but it's one of the major ones in Tokyo. And you can tell that by the gate. That marks the Shinto temple or a shrine. Another area that we went to in northern Tokyo, which is a huge park called the Ueno Park. It's one of the largest parks in Japan. This is the Japanese garden. You can see that was azaleas were blooming at that time. So this is in early May. And Taidoku is the town that it's nearby. But Ueno Park is just a huge area of, it's got a zoo there. It's got all kinds of festivals are held there. It's a really large place. Chiyodoku is where Hibiya Park is. So another town, another big park. Each one of the parks has kind of different attractions to it, like a Japanese garden or like Hibiya's main thing are these pine trees. So there's all kinds of different pines, and they're hundreds of years old. So the park itself was to celebrate their 120th birthday. So they had a nice little street festival going on and stuff. But you can see the buildings right behind it. This is in the middle of, downtown Tokyo, all kinds of steel and glass everywhere. And then you have these really nice parks, very clean, very orderly, well taken care of. Also in that same complex is the Emperor's Palace in Ueno Park. That's part of that park complex. And so this is where the Emperor of Japan lives. So you can go in and tour the grounds. You can't go into the house or anything, but you can kind of look at all of the various buildings and things associated with that. It's a large area, nice deep moat in it.
Is there more stuff to do? I thought.
There's the sheets.
Oh. Other stuff is in the dryer.
Large gardens.
Well,
all kinds of lots and lots of people there.
No, they might take longer to dry, but Bill can check that.
So this is one of our favorite restaurants that was kind of nearby. We stopped in. At the time, we could just walk in. After that, the second time we went, you had to make a reservation like a day ahead of time. But this is a chain, and this is what we call it the sticks place. But you can kind of see these little bamboo sticks. And what you do is you order by the stick. So they give you a menu that's on this screen, and then you order whatever it's going to be. Like it could be in the case of my son, that's my son. It's chicken hearts he's got on that stick, which I was not eating those. But you can get. We had these really good grilled peppers on the stick. You have beef on the stick. It's all something that's on that skewer. And then when you're done, you put the sticks in the little case. But you pay by the skewer. So and if you want a side dish, coleslaw or a salad or whatever, that's also paid there. But you just order it each time you want to have one, and they just bring them out to you. So you can spend hours there and rack up a huge bill because you just keep trying stuff. So we had a great time with it. It was fun. So we went there a couple times. This is at Chuodori Street in Ikebukuro. This is the main shopping street. So Dori is shopping, means market. And you can see this is during COVID, at the end of the COVID, well, they're still in lockdown. So remember this kind of scene because this is virtually empty compared to what it usually is. So it was really cool because we were able to go out and do stuff. The weather there is a lot like southern Florida, and it gets warm really early. So by the time May showed her up, it was getting kind of warm to be outside during the day. So, but everybody comes out at night. So in the daytime, you go down here, there's hardly anybody there. At night, the whole place is lit up. And it's full of all kinds of shopping and restaurants and all kinds of things. This banner across the top is telling you that they've sanitized everything and it's safe to be there. So there was a lot. It was kind of interesting to go there. A lot of street performers, stuff like that. This is one of the more interesting places called Kapabashi Kitchen Street. And what this is a street. It's probably at least a mile lined with every kind of cooking, food service, all kinds of food shops, and mostly kind of catering to the restaurant trade. But this is one of the most expensive knife shops in Japan. And you can buy, these things are thousands of dollars, last you a lifetime. And a lot of people go to look, but it was really cool to go there and see, you see chefs use them on television, then you actually see these kind of how they, this kind of equipment is. But you just go in and look at it and buy one if you want. I don't know how you get it through customs, but might be kind of interesting. But that's what the chef sign is. But this is an area that if you go on YouTube or any kind of the tour guides, they'll talk a lot about this area. The interesting part is that it's all like food service and buying things, but there's almost no restaurants there. So if you go there, you're going there because you're buying things, and so it was kind of interesting. We thought we were going to be kind of not eating our way through, but that wasn't the case. Another part of Tokyo is Asakusa. So this is more like what things look like in Tokyo. This was a Sunday afternoon. This is just lined with vendors of all kinds, products and food and kimono. There's a big kimono sales area there, artwork, all kinds of things. So you just kind of push your way through and it's really interesting. But at the end of this, if you see way in the distance, that's one of the shrines here. So it's actually out on the front square of the shrine. So work your way up there and then pay your respects. This is one of the areas inside. Just all kinds of pottery. It's really beautiful stuff. The things that are kind of in the back that are displayed are the things that are made in Japan. The stuff that's out here stacked up is the stuff from China. And Kapabashi Tool Street is the same way. In the front of, when you walk into the building, the Japanese made stuff is in front, first place you go to, and then when you work your way back into the store, it's the other things that are from other countries. So it's kind of interesting. They really try to play up buying their in-country produced equipment and stuff. I don't know what this red thing is right here, but I didn't buy one. But just all kinds of ceramics. It's just an amazing place. So this is in front of the Tokyo National Museum, which is in that area. So really kind of fabulous sort of stuff. Another area is Chiyoda-kyu. So this is the Yodobashi Akiba, another shopping area. So you've got the street markets, you've got the vending areas, and then you've got the department stores, which is what Yodobashi is. This place is amazing, absolutely amazing. I think it's 14 stories, and it is like one whole floor is devoted just to rice cookers. Another floor will be devoted to electronics. Another floor is as anime characters. And it's just amazing. There's just almost anything you could even think of is in this building. And after a while, you're just like, it's kind of stunning to be in there. But it's just a really well organized, but it's really kind of an interesting place. So shopping is a great thing there. Lots to do. If you've heard about the famous Shibuya crossing where everybody crosses right, left, and in the center, this is Shibuya crossing. This is my kid going across Shibuya crossing. But instead of just crossing the street, you actually can cross X-wise through the center. And it's not uncommon in all the intersections to be like that. But what happens is everybody stands around and then the light changes and everybody just goes. And as fast as they can to get across the street. And nobody runs into each other. There's nobody killed. I didn't know how things were going to work, but we crossed it just to do it. So we crossed through the center a couple times just because we wanted to have the feeling of crossing through this middle of the road. But this is kind of the typical time of lunchtime crowd in this area. It's a big shopping area. Another fun thing are what they call the gotcha machines. They're called capsule toys. So what these are is these are rooms that there you'll see these little things stacked up everywhere in Japan. There's just every little shop's got 3 or 4 gotchas in it. And then they have in the malls huge rooms that are like hundreds and hundreds of these things. And what they are basically are vending machines for these little toys. And people of all ages, old, young, everybody in between, it's really popular to collect these little toys in Japan. So you'll have a theme of some kind, butterflies or whatever, and you put your money in here and you turn the little knob and you get a little capsule out, and it's got this little toy in it. You don't get to pick what it is. There's like 4 or 5 different kinds in there. So you just keep putting them in until you get what you want. And it costs about $2.50. It's 300 yen. And you could just be in there forever doing things. But they're kind of fun. That was something I hadn't expected to see there. So this is the little toy. You get a little capsule. This is my little toy, my little cat. And these are really, really nice, nicely made. They're plastic, but they're really nice. This is actually a specific type of cat in Japan. I have a little Daruma, which is, if you can see it, I put him up here. This is the Shinto god of good luck. He looks like he had a scowl on his face, but he's actually looking at the future. And he's red because that's good luck. So this is a good sign. And then, of course, you've got to have our friend Godzilla. So I got him as well. He came in pieces, so I had to build him. But they're really pretty fun. It's just kind of a fun thing. See everybody buying these little things. There he is, large and low and hovering over Shinjuku. This is the toy. If you're into Godzilla at all, this is the Toyo Cinemas, and Toho is the people who created Godzilla. So he doesn't breathe fire. I thought that would have been fun, but he's lit up. But this is in Shinjuku, which is another piece of Tokyo, and Shinjuku is another shopping area. A lot of bars, a lot of places like that. Shin in Japanese is new. Juku is market, so this is the new market. But it's usually a very, very lot of nightlife here. Going back to the gardens, another really beautiful garden and park in Tokyo is called the Gyoen National Garden in the Shinjuku area. And this is just the rose garden part. But now this is a European garden. This is not a Japanese style garden. And you see the pine trees and that layering, a lot of really classical English type of garden. But these roses are just fabulously beautiful roses, and they're very old. But this thing goes on for, I think we spent a couple hours in there. Really something else. And everything you see there, almost everything you see is pruned. Nothing is really in a natural state in most cases in the gardens. They are, if you're into gardening at all, you'll see the pruning and the techniques that they use. So it's all sculpted to make a specific impression on people. So it's pretty interesting. Moving down south, this is Yokohama, which is a little bit south and west of Tokyo. And by train, this takes about 45 minutes to get there from where we were in Tokyo at the time. This area is near by the waterfront. This is the foundation of a building that was destroyed by an earthquake back in the early 1900s. And so they left it as it is and planted their gardens around it. And they have all kinds of information about it. But this was a huge building. It's quite a large space, but it was completely destroyed. But you can see how these were built with brick. So this is a brick building with no reinforcement of any kind. From an engineering standpoint, amazing it lasted as long as it did. But they kept it just as a monument. They do this a lot, where they like live among the ruins kind of thing, but they preserve it to let people know about it. This area back here used to be the tax and value building. Back in the old days, it's the brick building, and now it's all artisan craft stores. So they've brought all these people in for that, just beautiful gold work and metal work and pottery, clothing, all that kind of stuff in this building. So you can spend a bunch of time in there, lots of food and things like that. That's the harbor in Yokohama. This ship is one that the Japanese sailors, the students learn to sail on a rigged ship like they do here in the Coast Guard. And so the ship goes up and down the coast of Japan. The Ferris wheel wasn't running because it was COVID, but there's a stadium down here and all kinds of things. They have it's this Japanese Coast Guard, what's called the North Korea Spy Ship exhibit, which is really interesting because back in the 1980, 2000, I guess it was, they intercepted a drug shipment from Korea, North Korea, and it was a whole thing about this submarine that had a boat inside of it and exchanged gunshots and all kinds of things. But they had the submarine in there and all of the videos and information about it, which was kind of interesting. But just kind of one of those little things you see and think, oh, what's that? And we went in and it was really, really interesting. So next leg of the trip, after Yokohama, we spent a week going down to, went to Kyoto and Osaka area, up to Mount Fuji, and come back to the west side of Tokyo. So this is taking the Shinkansen. When you traveling in there, it's all public transportation. You can get everywhere you want to go, either a train, a cable car, a bus. You can get there. The Shinkansen is just the fast train. Again, Shin is the word new, Kansen was train, so it's the new train. But you can see everything's in Japanese and English. So when you're traveling there, the information that's given over the radio or over the loudspeakers about the train stops, all of that, it's in Japanese and English. So getting around is really easy. The trains are actually called names. This is the Kodama. We took the Hikari. We took the Hikari to Shin Osaka. But this information is all there. They tell you when the train is coming. They have signs that tell you which cars are full. They have reserved cars. If you take the Shinkansen, it's kind of like going on an airplane. There's certain cars that are reserved. But it took about 2.5 hours on the train to get there. So we had to go to where the Hikari takes off, and that's in Shinagawa Station, which is near Yokohama. And then you took it to Shin Osaka Station, and then you take the train, the regular street train from Shin Osaka to Kyoto Station. So you have to kind of coordinate that a little bit, but about 2.5 hours total. I think maybe a little bit longer than that. Uh, it was a lot of fun. This is the second fastest Shinkansen. So it's pretty cool. This is Kyoto Station. And this place is really quite something. Kyoto is the old capital of Japan. So before they moved it to Tokyo's name used to be called Edo. And in the mid 1800s, they moved the capital from Kyoto to Edo, and they renamed it Tokyo. So Kyoto has a lot of history behind it, a lot of art. It's a very art focused, a lot of religious. That was the seat of the religion at the time, different various religions. But the station is really great because it's just got this crazy architecture. But it's a train station. It's a train station that's attached to a huge shopping mall. And then this is an amphitheater. So they have concerts there. They have all kinds of stuff going on. And when you're looking down, you can see all of these different areas, and these escalators that go up and up and up are taking you to the various levels of the mall until you get out to the top. And in the top is where the outdoor dining is. And there's just, full of people. But what if you see this right back in here, well, I'll look at this again, but this is an amphitheater, and this is the front of the seats, and they are lit up with lights to make all these different patterns, and they change. I gotta silence my little phone here. So these things change, the panels change. So all the time you're standing there, this thing is making these beautiful designs in different kinds of colors and stuff. So we were taking pictures down here, and we're standing at this little platform right here. And we didn't realize that's what was behind us. And we saw these flashing lights, and we turned around and saw the stairs. It was really cool. But Kyoto's like that. There's all kinds of little places that they put art and it's just kind of interesting to see. Makes it nice for people. So one of the main areas to go to in Kyoto is the Nishiki market. And they have a lot. These markets are all over the place in Japan, but Nishiki is kind of a special from its location. A lot of specialty food is there. The food is different every place you go. So the southern part of Japan has certain types of dishes that they specialize in, and the northern part has other types of dishes. The ramen is different. The different types of dumplings you get are different. And this is where you would get all the ingredients because they just have everything there. But they cover the markets because, of course, it rains in Japan a lot. So these are actually outdoor markets, but they're covered. So again, the lighted panels, makes it kind of interesting to be there. The traditional carp picture on the front of it, and they just got all kinds of interesting things. We spent a really long time in here looking at all the stuff. A lot of fun. So this is some of the displays that you see: fresh fish, seafood, fermented things, weird stuff you don't know what it is in all kinds of barrels that they're dishing out, just all kinds of things, baskets, just huge amounts of things. The plates up here, can't really see out all that well, I don't think, but these are plates of food up here. And when you go there and you want to look, so there's a little bar restaurant kind of thing here. They will bring you a plate and it will look exactly like that picture. When you go to McDonald's there, the McDonald's hamburger looks just like the picture in the advertisements. It's pretty amazing. We went to McDonald's just to see that. But it's got everything, and it's just kind of cool. All kinds of fish. These are this stuff is called unagari, which is eel. This is eel. They've got different kinds of seafood. This is different kinds of sauces, and I think these are miso containers, but all kinds of interesting things. So moving out of the shopping part of it, this is the place called, it's known as the Bamboo Forest in Arashiyama. Really famous. Most of the tour guides are like, oh, you got to go to the Bamboo Forest. It's pretty cool. These are the people's heads. This is the bamboo. And this stuff is it's huge. It's absolutely huge. When you think of bamboo as being kind of a thin little grass, it's a tree. Uh, these kind of weedy things at the bottom are wisteria. So when we got there just a little bit too late, but so you can imagine that this green space with all these pretty purple wisteria lining the walls, it's pretty cool. But it's quite amazing. There are many of these though. So this is a place where everybody says, oh, you got to go to Kyoto, you got to see the bamboo forest. Many shrines have, this is part of a shrine type of an area that surrounds a shrine. And many of them have a very similar bamboo forest like this. So you can see the same thing, but not have to go all the way to Kyoto for it. And I can't remember the river. I tried to look it up and I could not remember where this is. It's a really famous place, but I'm sorry for that. But this is a Sunday and everybody is out. And most of these people are all wearing their kimono, their formal clothing. If you look upstream here, there's people boating. You can rent a canoe or a kayak and do that. This area is a shrine, and across the way is a shopping area to eat. A lot of food and things like that. Just some unbelievably gorgeous things that they sell there. Just beautiful, beautiful craft. But you can see how many people are out there. I thought everybody in Kyoto. It was an unbelievably hot day. It was the day we had just a couple days ago where they said it's extreme heat. This day was twice that. It was unbelievably hot. I didn't think I'd live, but I did. But Togetsukoya Bridge. I just don't remember the name of the river. This is another area in Kyoto, the Tenryuji Shrine. So this is a Buddhist shrine. Again, a Japanese garden with the azaleas are out. You see the people are dressed up. I kind of have been to Japanese gardens, but I didn't really know like the philosophy behind them. But there's a whole philosophy of how you're supposed to walk through the garden, how you see that how the view you have of the trees, how they're planted and all of that. And the interesting part I thought it was that once they plant them, they just, besides trimming them and all of that, they don't really maintain them like we do here. You don't see things mulched, you don't pull weeds. The weeds are out there, they just trim them down. It's just kind of an interesting area. It's philosophy, I guess. Wouldn't work in our suburb, that's for sure. This is another Buddhist building. These tiles are all meant to conduct all the water because it just rains and rains and rains. But really quite interesting. All made out of wood. This is all made out of the local wooded area. There's very little, they're put together with pegs and posts. They don't nail things. And at different times, they burn them down. If they get too old, they burn them down. So most of these buildings aren't ancient buildings. The site is ancient. They've been there a long time, but the buildings have like once a century, they'll burn the building down and they'll build a new one. So it's not like you're seeing the same old building, but it isn't an old building. It's kind of interesting idea. But there's it's so wet and things start to rot and they get bugs in them and things like that. So that's just what they do. This is Fushimi Inari Taisha, Kyoto. So this is a Shinto shrine. It has the Inari. The Inari are these big gates, and that means this was a very important shrine. So there are literally thousands of these things all over Japan, and there's certain ones that are more special than others. And this is one of them in the Kyoto area. But you can tell the Shinto is the red. The Buddhist is always the brown and white, and the Shinto has red. But again, lots of people there. There's me with my mask. Uh, but like I say, nowhere near as crowded as it was after we had come back after COVID. But it's really beautiful architecture. This is a famous torii path. These little things are called tories. In Fukushima, Fukushima. This is the one people talk about, this path that you're supposed to see. This type of setup isn't uncommon in a lot of the inari. So if it's an important shrine and they had was called an inari, they'll usually have a path of torii like this. So so if you don't go to Kyoto, you can still have a path. The interesting thing is you can kind of see the writing on these. These are sponsors. So these are corporate sponsors of that gate. So kind of like you would sponsor your baseball team or whatever, that's what they do. So kind of a different take on things, but it's quite interesting. This is the Kinkakuji temple, also called the Golden Temple. This is literally leafed with gold. It's inset inside a Japanese garden, and this is a temple. They have another one that's a silver temple. So and they're exactly the same building, just one's gold and one is silver. But really quite interesting. Again, the Japanese garden, this layering of the trees they do this on purpose. They don't just grow like that. So they're always manicuring everything. So we go now to the port of Osaka. So where Kyoto is religious and artistic and all of that, Osaka was the party town. So Osaka is where the mob lived in Japan, the organized crime, different areas, and Osaka was also competed with Kyoto at one time to be the capital of Japan. So they fought back and forth a lot in Osaka. A little bit quieter now, but still kind of a party town. Always interesting to get sake for breakfast. I always thought that was a cool. Hey, it can't be a bad place if that's what they're doing. This is Osaka Castle, which was the seat of government there. I can't remember what shogun this was, but many years ago, in the 1600s at any rate. This building is not that old because the warlords would stake their claim to an area. They'd collect their samurai around them, and then they were called daimyos, and then they would build a castle because they were in charge now. They build a fancy castle and live in it. And then the other people that they had down the street that decided that they wanted to be in charge, they would go and burn the castle down. And so they were forever burning each other out of their castles. So the castles aren't very old. But this one was rebuilt in the 1800s using the original plans. So it was built to be a tourist attraction. So if you go inside the castle, you don't really see, they didn't really fit the inside of it out the way they would have been if they lived there, but the outside is what it would have looked like. But you can see this rampart here, this huge wall. This wall is very old. And I think it was somewhere like, this is like 1,500 years old. It's an incredibly old place. And this is part of how the wall was set up. And then there's a big moat. So you have to cross this moat, and then you have to get up the wall, and then you get to the castle at the top. And all of the time, they're up here on the top shooting at you. So it was not easy to do. The interesting part is that you can kind of see, but in this rock, there's like a little, the stone, there's a little carving. And what the daimyo would do was they would collect the samurai families, and they would have them pay for the maintenance of the wall. And so the samurai families would put their insignia on the rock, on the stone, and that literally carved in stone their loyalty to that daimyo. So if you look closely, you can kind of see all these kind of scratchings in here, but these are very old, been around for a very long time. It's kind of interesting. So you couldn't say you didn't believe in it. this was just some of the kimono that we saw. This is in the Honenji temple, but these sandals they wear are wood, and they're climbing up and down the hills, and I'm wearing like hiking shoes, and my feet are killing me. I don't know how they do it, but just beautifully turned out. And it was a very hot day there. So moving on from the Osaka area, we go to Fujisan, where this picture on the left, I guess it's my left, this picture, the classic Fuji. We were so lucky that we got good weather. May is not a good time to be out there, but we just had beautiful weather the whole time we were there. It was really, really nice. Tenjozen Park is opposite Fuji. It's on the hill across from it. We took a cable car up to the top of the mountain, and then we took pictures of Fuji on one side and then Lake Kawaguchi on the other side. So this is a beautiful lake. We took a bus. There's a hop on, hop off type of bus that you can purchase a ticket for. And we just went to all these little sites, and the bus took us around pretty much all of the whole lake over here. The interesting thing, as a side note, I might have mentioned on my Utah presentation that there were a lot of Japanese families in northern Utah. They came to farm there, and the second grade teacher that used to teach in my school, her name was Miss Kawaguchi, and I never realized, but that's her last name because that's where they were from. And Suzuki is another one. A lot of the names that you see, those are the towns and the lakes, but that's their family name because that's the area they were from. Just pretty much how Europeans did it, did the same kind of a thing, but they don't tend to be names associated with your trade or your position in life. It's your area. So your last name tells people what your origins were. That was kind of interesting, but it's just really beautiful area. Also, I want to point out, these are all, the other thing is it's a volcano, luckily not one that was exploding or anything. But these hills, if you've been to Hawaii and seen the sharpness of the peaks and how they're just covered with trees, Japan is the same way. And so there's very few places where it's really flat that they can build houses and things. So all these areas, that's where they built the temples, were in these at the tops of these mountains. So if you go to the temples in the traditional areas, you are going to climb and then you are going to go down. So it could be quite an athletic experience. On the east side of Tokyo, in Chiba, we went to the National Museum of Japanese History, which was really a very, very interesting place. They have a lot of museums will say the National Museum of this, National Museum of that, but they're for specific types of, they have specific focuses, foci, I guess. And this one was natural history. It was really interesting. It goes through the very early, how Japan was settled, where people came from and all of that good stuff. A lot of samurai war gear. It's just really amazing. Fierce looking things. I don't know how in that heat they could stand it, but they did. The sword collection was really quite amazing. In the museums, and this is true for most of the museums, most of it was in Japanese and English. So the four languages that you will see things in there are Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and English. So if you don't speak one of the Asian languages, English is your ticket. So most of all of the labeling and all of that will have an English component to it. In this museum, the top floor was the story, this time of Japan during World War II. And in that one, there are no English cards. Everything's in Japanese. So you have to take you go walk through with your phone and try and figure out what it says. And it was interesting. We went up there and it's a different point of view, let's just say that. But it was really, really quite well put together. nice little town that we went to. We walked through, and these guys had a very nice little restaurant. It was very nice trip. Took us probably about 2 hours to get there. This last trip we had, we went to a different part of Tokyo called Kamakura. This is called the Great Buddha. It's the largest copper Buddha in the world. And I mean, it's big. It's surprising. It's at the top of a hill. So when you're walking up to it, you see the head, and it gradually reveals itself as religion reveals itself to you. And a lot of history behind this, but this is quite old. I think they said it was built in the 1200s, that they actually hammered this out. So this is a very old structure. Back again, what would be Japan without cherry blossoms, right? So this last trip we had, we were really fortunate that nothing happened until the first week in April when we were going to leave, and all of a sudden all the cherry blossoms came out. So what we had the cherry watch. They actually have a website you can go to, and they'll tell you where the cherries are blooming. They start in the south, so Fukushima and Nagasaki will get their cherries first, and then they kind of move their way up the country. So you can go to wherever you want to see it. But this is the Rikujian Gardens with the cherry trees there, and again the sculpted tree and the idea to look for the tree to just be part of the landscape. Again, another part of it. Rikujian. This is a really old tree. I want to say this was 900 years old, this tree, and still going strong. It looks pretty rough, if you look at the trunk, but it's still going strong. And this is an area in Meguro. It's called Kuben Center Park, but what it is that they have the rivers are basically been channeled into canals. So there's concrete everywhere, and you see and on the side of this wall, there's a river over there. And both sides of the pathway on both sides of the river are totally planted with these trees. There's just hundreds and hundreds of cherry trees. And we were going to meet our son for dinner, and we had a couple of minutes. And so we said, well, let's just walk down the street and see what we see. And this is what we saw. We didn't know it was there. And it was just beautiful. And people were out, taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. But that's how Japan is. You just kind of around the corner is going to be something really amazing. And, so you kind of watch out for all that kind of stuff. Be there to enjoy it. So I have the best and worst things about our trip to Japan. The worst things for me are there's just certain types of things I'm not an adventurous eater. The squid beaks, they use that to make a broth it's called dashi, but it's what they make make ramen. It's one of the ways to make ramen, but it's usually with a broth. Although the instructions on here tell you that to watch out because the squid beaks are hard. So I think people probably actually eat these. I don't know. Anyway, these little guys over here, these are little tiny fish, and they're called white bait, but these are dried, but they don't look that much different when they're fresh, but they're just these little teeny fish. And they are everywhere. They use them everywhere. When you go to the breakfast bar at the hotel, there'll be a dish of these little fish, and they're very salty. So that's what people use for salt. You rarely see a salt shaker on a table or a salt shaker anywhere, but you'll see different types of seaweed and then these little fish. But they're whole, and I don't like. I've not eat them. My son thinks they're great, but I'm not one of those people. So there's some interesting things. Stairs, as I mentioned, they've got hills in Japan, and there's lots of hills. This is a really common configuration in the neighborhoods. They'll at the very top of the hill will be a shrine of some kind, and then the houses are all around the shrine. So this is one that the Torii is here. This is a Buddhist one. This is leaving. You go down the stairs, go up more downstairs. It was a lot of stairs. Some of the train stations are 14 stories below the street. So think about how deep that is. There are you are like close to the center of the earth, I think, and there's stairs to come out of there. So you climb a lot of stairs. Then other times there aren't stairs, there are ramps. And this was coming out of Mount Takao, and the ramp was so steep we almost couldn't even, it was unbelievable. And it went on for, I think the whole thing was, I didn't even know there were people in wheelchairs that were going down this thing, and I don't know how they weren't killed doing it, but uh, it was quite a surprise. And it was a very hot day. By the time you get to the down part, you don't care anymore, but what goes up must come down, and that's what this is. This is probably was like going to be one of my worst things, but I did encounter a couple of these little goodies. The farther out from Tokyo you get, the more likely you are to see a thing like have this kind of stuff. And usually there's a choice, sometimes there isn't, but depends on your level of desperation, I guess. And then there's tourists. This is my husband and this is my son taking pictures of each other, so I took a picture of them. The place is absolutely full of tourists. One of the things that you can, if you are trying to find like places the locals go, you want to see how the local people are, look around you and see what kind of people they are. And if they're not Asians, then they're likely all tourists. And that's probably they probably just got off a tourist bus because this is the bamboo forest. This is how few people there were when we got there. An hour later, it was shoulder to shoulder to walk through this after the bus is unloaded. So if you are going to go see anything that's really popular, best to go very early in the morning. If you're going to view cherry trees in Ueno Park, people get there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like I said, the sun comes up so you can see the trees. But if you want to go and really see the trees, that's what you have to do. There's a lot of tourists there. The best things, I love the gardens. I'm a gardening person, so I went to the gardens. Just all of them a little bit different and just really, really interesting. What they call the lunch or the dinner set. So you get a set, that's the set menu, and it comes with everything. It's a little all-inclusive meal. So all these the tea, this is ramen. The side dishes all come with the set. So you get, and then they bring a little dessert that comes with you. This is at Mount Takao, and it was so hot. It was the first couple days we were there, and it was just unbelievably hot. And this was at the end of the trip. We stopped at this little place in the town there and got this lunch, and that's ice. It's cold green tea, which I'd never purposely had ice cold. I mean, very cold. It was so good. It was so good. The dish I'm eating here was ramen, but it was made with what they call mountain yam. And mountain yams are not a real yam. It's a big, long root, but the characteristic they have is they're slimy, which is not my favorite thing, but you mix it up really good. It coats the noodles, and then it has this nice sweet flavor that it has. It's really good. But the lady came over and she says, "Oh, you must mix it up really well." So I did. But you get the set lunch for the price. It's really great. It is the law in Japan that every place that serves lunch has to serve a lunch that a working person could purchase. That would be affordable. So you'll often see that lunch will be advertised on the marquee or on a sandwich board outside the shop, and usually we're talking $5 US for this, and it'll be this kind of a meal. It'll be a full meal, and it's really great. But it's very interesting. The idea behind it was so that the working person could have something to eat, could be able to have something food available. Oops. The other thing that was 6. I like the lunch or dinner set. Then I have to choose. Google Maps for getting around. This is great. It's not really all that clear, I don't think, on the slide, but when you we want to get from Kyoto to Mount Takao, they tell you how to get there. These are all the trains. This is all the lines you would have to take, the times that they are there, how long it takes, all of that. And so you know which train line to get, what the stops are going to be, and it's really great. You don't have to sit there with a map and figure it all out. Google has all that information. They do have a couple of apps you can download that can do that for you as well. But these guys were pretty good because they gave you the cable and the bus lines and things like that. So really indispensable kind of as long as the Wi-Fi holds out. Number 4 was shopping, as I mentioned, Yoribashi, great place. Seibu and Tobu are fabulous, fabulous department stores. 14 stories of everything you could ever want. And like for those of us who remember when a department store was actually a cool thing, the very high quality, beautiful things in there. Seibu in particular has a part of a floor all dedicated to kimono. And so all that silk and all the fabrics and the various things are, you can look at them and buy them if you want to, but they are very, very expensive. Isatan is a very old store. Hands is a craft place. So you could get, if you want to buy like crafting things, stationery, all kinds of little interesting things there. You can. Daiso is kind of like the Target of Japan, but there's a lot of really, really interesting things there. And like I say, the stuff made in the Japanese products are very high quality. So they're really good value for your money. And then at Toya, this is in Ginza, 9 floors, and it is stationary, pens and paper and all kinds of just cool stuff like that. I got my little foldable box there. It was really cool. Seibu also has a beautiful stationery. Pentel pens are made in Japan, and Seibu probably has every Pentel pen they sell that exists in that. I mean, just go and look at pens. It's like, at first you think, oh, it's a bunch of pens, but then you start looking at them. It's like, oh, look at the colors, really cool. But shopping's a big deal. It's cool there. Number 3 is the Japanese soaking tub. I want one. I asked for this for Christmas, but I didn't get one. And next year I'm hoping. They have the little traditional we didn't go to the sauna. That's on our to the onsen. That's on our list for next time. But it's just set up like an onsen where you wash up, you get out, and then you take your shower, and then you get in the tub and soak. Some of these actually have where you can program the temperature of it. So it only gives you the water you want. You don't have to wait for anything. Fabulous. The hotels don't usually they provide certain things that are in the hotel, but like this hotel that we were at, when you went in the front area, they had a huge area, and it was all things like bath salts and stuff like that. And so you could go and buy, not buy, but it's, they provide it, smell like lemon or mint or whatever you wanted, but volcanic types of things. But it was great. After a hot day, beautiful. Japanese toilet. If you've never seen one, you're going to want one. But again, I asked for Christmas. I get nothing from Santa Claus. This thing, these are all these little controls. It's a bidet. It plays music. It has a heated seat. It opens and closes for you. It's lit. It's a wonderful thing. Wish I had one, but most places, this is what you'll see. Even in the train stations, this is what you'll see. And then, like I said, as you get out farther from Kyoto or Tokyo or the cities to the countryside, you'll see less and less of this type of thing. But it's nice to have it for sure. Kind of the epitome of civilization, in my opinion. And my best thing is a shady spot to sit on a hot day. I'd sit. I am at this point in time. I think my feet said I'm not going one more step. It is a lot of walking. There's just not just the stairs and the ramps and all of that, but it's a lot of walking. Even though you can get a bus close to things, you're still going to end up walking, and then you're walking around everything. So you have to have your good shoes on. Oop, went the wrong way. And with that, Tokyo. This is another thing. We were just kind of hanging around Tokyo Terminal as we were getting ready to leave, and the top floor, you can go out and take pictures. Look at the city of Tokyo from the airport. So that's what we did. They had all kinds of people were out here looking at stars. They have telescopes to view things. People were playing music, and there's a bunch of little restaurants back in here. So it's just one more little fun thing that we did on the way out. And with that, I am done. I think, yeah, I'm done. So does anybody have any questions or if you've been there, other things?
Do we have questions?
Yes,
If not,
So you could stop sharing, Jan, and I'll bring up all the other people.
Okay. Yeah, it worked twice for me. That's great.
Okay, anybody out in the Zoom land that has a question? You probably need to unmute yourself because I tried to mute everybody.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you
Go
were
ahead.
you said you were there in April, kind of, we were getting ready to leave and you showed the cherry trees.
Mhm.
And I wondered if all the trees had leaves. I wondered if, are those all deciduous? And also the grass was completely yellow. So was that still end of winter or why?
It is, let's see, very early spring, I would say. It's
So
early
the
in
grass
spring.
was still dead from winter.
Yeah, yeah, and some of that's not grass; it's just weeds.
Really?
Yeah, like I say, uh, they have grass in certain types of places, but it's very natural. They mow it and all that, but it's not like planted grass like we're thinking about. But also, the areas under the trees, people they have what they call hanami, which is was the flower viewing, and they'll spread their tarps out and have picnics underneath the trees and stuff. So a lot of that's because people have stomped on it
Oh,
quite a lot.
yes.
But
Thank you.
you go to see the cherry trees and you see a lot of people with blue tarps.
Well, that was really interesting. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
yeah, one thing that I noticed, I went to Japan, and the thing that astounded me most actually were the train stations themselves.
Yeah.
What did you think? I like that. I just remember this Shinjuku station was just enormous, and it was like,
Yep.
if you look up, it's like 5 levels up are the fast trains. You know, it's just enormous.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed riding the trains as much as anything.
Yeah, it was at first it was like I say, we were there at a time when it wasn't really crowded a lot of the times. And at first you kind of have to get used to that sort of lifestyle. The second time we went it was unbelievably crowded. And that's when you really see what it's like. And oh my gosh. But in between the rush hours, yeah, they're just amazing. They all have shopping, they all have food, they all have there's just a maze of places, and uh, they were really incredible. I think just really good and cheap. I mean, really, when you think about the price that it's like $5 to ride the train. And you can go anywhere you want all day long. We bought a pass and just it was pretty good.
What was your son studying in Japan to become fluent?
He speaks Japanese. Yeah, I don't think fluent is there yet, but he studied mechanical engineering. He took robotics. He had applied before COVID and he got accepted because he wanted to study with a specific professor in an international program. And an international program was taught in English. So he was going to do all of that. Well, COVID came, that didn't happen. He went to U of M instead. And then the week before he graduated, they called him up and said, hey, we want you to come down. We're opening up and we're starting our program again. By that time, that professor had left. So he ended up actually taking classes in Japanese.
You seem quite
So-
facile pronouncing Japanese. Did you study a little bit before you went and after you come back?
Yeah, he took classes. He'd been there before for work, so he'd actually learned some conversational Japanese, and then he took some
But
classes.
how about you? I mean, did you
Me?
study?
I know like 6 words.
Well, the place name just seemed to roll off your tongue like you knew what you were, how to
Oh,
pronounce
well.
this.
I don't. So the way that the writing and stuff, how it works is, when you see the English characters, those are making the sounds that would be in Japanese, because in Japanese it wouldn't be that way. So it's easy to pronounce it only because they're set up like our letters. But when my son pronounces it, and when you hear people talk, it's quite a bit different. They cut the words off a lot. It's quite something, because I tried very hard to pick up a few words and kind of do it, but thank you that I can say the place names so I can get where I'm going.
How long does it take to get over there?
13 hours. We leave, Detroit has a straight through flight. It's a 13-hour flight. If you stop, then it of course longer, but yeah, it's a long haul.
Jan, you
Yeah.
mentioned that it was a hot day. I think it was the bridge, and there were people all dressed up in their kimonos. So can you talk about when people wear kimonos, and is it typical, or
You see, typically that's their formal clothes. So if they're doing something important, like they're going to church, so they'll get, if they are going to get dressed up for something, they're going to wear kimono. When my son graduated, they asked people, they said, wear your formal clothes. And so most of the people showed up in their kimono, and whatever that traditional thing was. But then a lot of people just wear them just in general. Usually the stuff they wear day to day is more cotton and not as fancy. And then they rent them. That's the other thing, is you can rent a kimono for however long you want to, and they'll dress you up, and then they'll set you out and let you go out into the world. And the men too. That's the other thing. The men dress up, and the women as well. It's not just a female thing.
Do men wear ukatas as part of their formal dress?
The yukata is typically for more in the summer.
Okay.
It's the same robe. It's just they don't wear the obi, the sash, like the women do. But yeah, they'll. I was in Yodobashi, and I saw this guy that was wearing basically looked like a bathrobe, and with sandals on. And I just thought to myself, gee, it's the only place where a guy could wear a bathrobe and sandals and actually be dressed to go somewhere. And then he met up with this other guy that was dressed the exact same way he was. And I thought, oh, they were sumo wrestlers. They were sumo trainees. So they were these 2 beefy guys in their bathrobes. And I thought, that's interesting. But in that heat, they've got to be way more comfortable.
You mentioned a cable car at Mount Fuji. Is there a cable car to the top of Mount Fuji?
No, the cable car is to the mountain opposite Mount Fuji. Fuji, you have to basically, if you don't want to hike it, you have to take a bus, and they bus you up to, I want to say, the 8th station, and then you have to hike all the way up to the top. Now, at the time we were there, you could just go when you wanted to, but now you have to get actually a pass to go up to the top. But yeah, there's no bus to, I think the bus goes, the last bus goes up to just to the fifth station, and then there's a what do they call that? Like a Jeep or something that it's a private vehicle that takes you up to the 8th if you want to do that.
You were lucky to see it. I was in Gotemba at the
Oh,
kind of base of Mount Fuji. This is way back in the 60s. And I was there for 2 or 3 days. We never saw the mountain. And
yeah.
so to this day, I've never seen the mountain except in people's pictures. So I know it's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It has if you get up early, it's cloudy. And then there's the time when around noon when the cloud burns off and it looks like it's supposed to look. And then the clouds kind of come back. But by the time we left the fog had moved in and you couldn't even tell it was there. So yeah, we were very, very fortunate.
Now, you mentioned that this was 2 trips, right?
Right.
So what months were the trips and which month was it really hot?
So the first trip we took, we left, we were there from the 1st of May and we were there till the first week of June. And that was hot. I think there were 3 or 4 days in there that at the beginning it weren't so bad, but after that it just got progressively hotter till by the time June came around, we were like, I'm not going outside.
Really?
The second, yeah, it was warm. Now, that's nowhere near as warm as it gets. August is the worst. The second time we went, we got there the second week of March, and we stayed until the first week of April. And April was starting to get warm, just as the cherry blossoms fully bloomed, and we bugged out before it got hotter than that. But August is not good. Right now, we talked to my son this morning, and it's already hot enough that they're starting to not go outside during the day.
When you say hot, are you talking about 100 degrees or what are you talking about?
It gets up into the 90s in the worst part of the summer, but it is humid, and it's kind of if you've been kind of in the tropics, it's that very all-encompassing steam that you just can't. It's just takes all the energy out of you, but very warm. Again, basically people just don't go out at during the day.
Were you riding city buses too, or mostly trains?
We did all of it, trains and buses and anything that we could get. At first, you're hiking and you're walking and everything's great. About the second week, feet are saying, we're not doing this anymore. And it doesn't matter what it is. If I could pay somebody to take me there, get me closer. That's what I was doing. So, but it's very convenient. In fact, like in Kyoto, we decided we were going to take the bus and standing in line at the bus stop, and this lady came out of nowhere who turned out to be one of the bus people and told us what bus to get on and made sure everybody was all sorted out correctly and all of that, just because it was one of the main stations, bus terminals in Kyoto. So there's people to help you. So I highly recommend it. And it's not expensive. It's like for $3, you can go anywhere inside the city of Kyoto as many times as you want. So, it's just really, really convenient.
I mean, it seems intimidating to me to go into a foreign city where you don't speak the language and use the bus system. I mean, even in Ann Arbor, you have to look at the map and study it and know those streets and know that bus 32 goes here and here. I don't know, how do you master that skill in a foreign country where the language is totally, totally different?
Like I say, most things are in Japanese and English. There's some. So if you're at the bus, like say you're at a bus stop, and they've got the map there, one of them is in English. So that's part of it. There's a lot of different apps on the phone that you can get that'll tell you where you are and what you're doing and everything. It helps to have somebody, the kids speaking at least some Japanese. That was great. But the other thing is that the people, most of the Japanese don't speak very much English. And if they do, they're afraid to try it out on you because they don't want to make a mistake. But they are always willing to help you. They're very helpful about everything. So they'll make that attempt if they, one way or the, or if they don't know, so if you're really in trouble, they'll find somebody that can speak English for you. So, but yeah, I just kind of go for it. It's a very safe place to go. And I think that's a big thing because you're not afraid of getting dropped out into some horrible part of town where you've got to be concerned. It's a safe area. So you feel like, you know, at least I can get back to the main train station if I need to. But yeah, we just kind of went for it.
You book your hotels before you went, or you just went?
Yeah. Yes.
Do they
Um,
teach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you finish.
Yeah, we booked. So most of the hotels have their own, you can book online, right, directly to the hotel. There is a couple of kind of broker type places. Agoda is one and Rakuten is another. That the smaller hotels, like the one we went to in Fuji, they book through that, like a booking.com sort of a place, but mostly online like that. And most of the time, what we look for on the website, they'll have somewhere there's a drop down that will put the website in English.
Any other questions?
I wanted to ask, I was under the impression they teach their children how to speak English. Way back when I was in high school, I had a pen pal from Osaka,
Mhm.
and they could write English and everything. Is that?
There was, yeah, that was what I thought too. Turns out that it was more of a desire than an actual thing that happened.
Oh,
And where you would think people that are the younger people speak more of it than the older people do for sure. But they're not, it's not like going to Europe where people are so
Mm.
fluent that you wouldn't even think that they were German or Swiss. They definitely are not. The school, there's a whole lot of politics that went into that, and kind of a idea that they were losing their culture. But one of the reasons why the four languages, English is one of them, is that's what the law says it has to be. But some people, we met, like we had a gal that served us at this one of the hotels. She was the waitress that would come around, and she spoke very, very well, just very well. Other people, and they'll find somebody for you. So yeah, it never really quite got there. Kind of like the metric system here in America.
yeah. Thank you.
Other
Thank you,
questions?
this is wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm going back next year, so I'll be back with more.
Mm.
All right, thank you very much. That's
Yeah,
very
you're
interesting.
welcome. I enjoyed it.
I got a couple items. One is I sent out a volunteer questionnaire to everybody, just asking basically what you would like to present or what you'd like to hear from other people. So if you could reply to that, that would be helpful. We're trying to get a sense of what topics we have speakers for and what topics do people want to hear. And the other thing is, I know Sharon cannot wait for the July meeting because she's going to talk about New Zealand, where she was, there for 2 months.
Yeah.
Any other business? Otherwise, I'll,
What day is the next meeting?
good question. I think it's the, let's see, it's the 22nd, I believe,
Okay,
July 22nd. And it's a Zoom meeting. It's not an in-person meeting. Unless Sharon wants to fly up here from Key West.
No, we should. Maybe next year.
Okay,
I don't think it would be much cooler.
Yeah.
no, it's more, it's hotter here because I've been talking to my son in Florida. It was 80 this morning. I mean,
It's cool down there. Yeah.
yeah. So, okay. Thanks, everybody, for attending and have a good rest of the day. Stay cool.
Thanks, Jan. It was great.
Yes,
Enjoyed it.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.